Howdy all, I'm Adam the Renaissance Nerd, and I love real Star Wars. And Disney Star Wars is not real Star Wars. It is fake, not real, and made for people who are not fans of Star Wars. And that's the topic of today's video. Yes, of course, I'm sure some of you want to hear what I have to say about the overall discussion of Andor Season 2 and the SA, as we put it, because we have to use the proper terminology so YouTube doesn't get all angry at us. The SA incident. I will talk about that, but that will be done this Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern on the round table in a panel discussion so we can make sure we properly discuss and cover it, and so that perhaps I don't overstep and I'm kept in check by Jed and Dre. Point being, though, today's discussion is about the stans versus the real fans. A couple weeks ago, I put out a video. It was a clip from a stream, but it really was a discussion about, is Star Wars political, essentially? No. Real Star Wars is politically themed. Disney Star Wars is political because the people it's made for are, as my friend Samuel the Infamous, my co-host on Mellow Mondays, very thankfully brought the definition and attention to me that the term literate is not the word that I understood it to be when talking about this stuff. During Star Wars Celebration, they made it very clear that Andor Season 2 was literate. Now, what is literate? Samuel made it very clear last Sunday on Roundtable that literate means, in this realm, it's going to tackle politics, and the politics that those who make it and who it's made for believe in. Not like Star Trek used to do, where it would give you a broad spectrum of ideas and thoughts and let the viewer make a decision for themselves. No. In today's terminology, if something is literate, it's made with most likely the commie Marxist socialist agenda to be pushed through the screen to indoctrinate anybody who follows it. And if you don't believe in it, well, you're then just a fascist. That's the words. They use words they don't know meanings to. Anyway, so I thought about this, that what are we going to talk about? What are we going to do here? Because I want to talk about Andor, but I don't want to get into the big stuff quite yet. So it occurred to me, thanks to a single statement in the release of our discussion about the failure that was Star Wars Celebration 2025 in Japan, somebody said to me in the comments section after I put that up, why are you even talking about all this? Clearly, you don't just dislike Star Wars, you hate Star Wars. Why don't you just leave it to the real fans and go away? And that one, of course, I laughed at it because, oh yeah, I hate Star Wars. I hate it. I've spent my entire life collecting, protecting, and preserving it and enjoying it. Franchise closest to my heart, first generation fan. I hate Star Wars. So I saw that comment. I thought to myself, they're right. I do hate what they're talking about. I hate Disney Star Wars because I am a real Star Wars fan. I love every single thing about real Star Wars. And I thought about that. And I just put it on the back burner to make fun of it. But then the Andor SA crap is upon us. And I was going through the commentary online, and we'll get to the Tony Gilroy stuff this Sunday. Don't worry. We're saving that. But I looked at the stan reaction, and I've collected a few samples from my journey. And it really is two different people. Those who are real Star Wars fans and those who are Disney Star Wars stans, what it is made for. And what am I talking about specifically? Let's bring it up and let's start going over this. They're all talking about the SA stuff. So let's read these and I will lead you on this little definition and why there is a definite, now resounding, unequivocal difference between a real Star Wars fan and a Disney Star Wars stan. Real Star Wars fans, when events happened in the Star Wars universe, they talked about the events with fun enjoyment and argued it in a nerd way. Oh, Anakin wouldn't do this. Oh, so-and-so wouldn't do that. Oh, the Jedi shouldn't behave like this. Oh my God, why are we watching this and that? Or arguments like that, nerd arguments, nerd fights, as I like to call them. This is politically driven, because Disney Star Wars is politically driven. So let's read this and a couple, and I'll show you what I mean. Andor dared to go to the darkest places Star Wars could offer, an Imperial officer abusing his untouchable status to grape an undocumented migrant while his troops are rounding up the other undocumented citizens. This is the real world seeping into Star Wars storytelling. This is the world we live in, reflected in the galaxy far, far away. This is Star Wars at its most political, at its most potent, its most frightening. I must commend the writing team's bravery to not shy away from such topics, to depict fascist regimes as they are, speak the word directly into the camera, show just how despicable fascists really are. Andor is as brilliant as it is terrifying. Here it is. These people need their ideology, their beliefs, how they see the world reflected in their, and I use this word very lightly, stories. Because this is not a story, this is bullshit. They need it because it reaffirms what they believe. Star Wars is not supposed to be political. It's supposed to be politically themed. I've made that case over and over again. Right here, this is political because they want it in your face. They want the real world represented in fiction because then it validates their way of thinking. Oh my God, the show that I worship and praise or pretend to, it's saying the things I feel inside me. Therefore, it is perfect. It's real. And now I feel like I'm right. That's what this is. But it keeps going. Can't believe some dumbasses are going to watch an arc centered around political refugees without legal residency facing deportation, violence, intimidation, SA by immigration officials and still insist Star Wars isn't political. And then throughout all the responses here, it's echo chamber leftist bullshit. Oh yeah, God, it's made against the MAGA people. Oh my God, it was made even before Trump took office. So yes, they saw it was coming. Right here. They want this stuff reflected because they're sick and deranged. And they believe this shit is actually happening. They believe that this is going on. They believe that violence and intimidation is going on when the people that they are supposedly protecting in this real world situation are the criminals. The ones who do harm to actual American citizens. But no, they need to transplant it and put it in the show where they can see, oh yes, I'm supporting the rebels. We're the rebels who just want to live free from Orange Man. They need this shit to support their fantasy. And when they see it, they believe it. And you know these people with their weird ass names. In my era, I despise. I know exactly who you are if you say I'm in an era. I know, and also with your goddamn crap avatars like that. We know who you are. They are obsessed with their ideology and they need it inside their programming because it reaffirms the programming they've been indoctrinated to for all these years. So there's the difference right there, but it only gets worse. In response to now Tony Gilroy's statement that everybody's been graped, we are all come from grape. Again, we'll get into that in another video. Thanks to Robot Head, I spotted this one from Sawyer Loves Star Wars. If you have never experienced SA and you're complaining that your Star Wars has been soiled because of it, you reek of filth and privilege. I don't even know where to begin really to unpack this. How broken in your head are you to think that you have to experience assault to understand something? Now, I have known people who have been affected by this situation, and I gave them all the support in the world once I found out. But just because I don't experience it doesn't mean that I can't point out and say that this politically charged storyline based upon, as Tony Gilroy says, his belief that the whole world, we all come from grape. I don't need to experience that to say that, no, this is sick. It's deranged that you think like this. So these are the people who want to tell us how to think and feel. And these are the same people who for years have told us Star Wars is a kid's show with space wizards. We come to this one. People want darker, more mature Star Wars and complain when we receive darker, more mature Star Wars. No, real fans never talk like that. Only fake fan stans talk like that. Some people simply struggle to comprehend a more mature story structure. Remember, for some, when it comes to Star Wars, flashy swords and pew-pew equal good, mature writing equal bad. No. First of all, the writing is dog shit. I've watched the season 1. It was dog shit. There is not... Injecting shock value moments is not mature story writing. An essay scene in this situation is for shock value to get across your political point to reaffirm morons who need to see their bullshit. That is not mature story writing. Star Wars has decades of mature story writing centering around horrible results of war. If you read The New Jedi Order, you want to talk about refugees? An entire galaxy of refugees because the Yuuzhan Vong destroyed worlds, annihilated worlds, made them unlivable. And people were refugees across the galaxy. You want to talk about abuse? Twi'leks, abused, always. Ryloth, it was a planet where they farmed for slaves of all shapes and sizes, from servitude to sexual. Go back to A New Hope. What do we see in the first act of A New Hope? Owen and Beru Lars, skeletal burned corpses. Star Wars has always had powerful imagery, powerful ideas that are represented in the stories, both in literature and on the screen. But it wasn't done for shock value. It was done to bring it home. It was done with show don't tell aspects, not telling us you are correct in your political belief, because here's our shock value moment to remind you that you think a certain way, and because we think the same way, you're correct. They have no leg to stand on, the stands. They want to tell us it's a kid's show, but then tell us that all this shit is okay. It's not okay. Because as I said, for decades, George Lucas and everybody he involved in creating a living, breathing, vibrant world, they portrayed real stories filled with all kinds of trials, tribulations, suffering, and very harsh realities. They didn't need to shock you with an essay scene. They didn't need to do any of that. And it was still a fun, dramatic world to live in where bad things happened, but we didn't feel disgusting. And to bring it back to this, they want you to feel uncomfortable because they want you to be, they wanted this controversy. They wanted this controversy so that they can say, look, those who are uncomfortable, well, they just don't want to tackle these issues. No, there's a time and place for these issues, and in a show meant to be celebrated by all, and where it's supposed to be, I'm going to say it, fantasy science fiction. You don't need this unless you are politically driven. And that's why we will say definitively now, Disney Star Wars is politically driven for people who need to wallow in their politics and ideology. Real George Lucas Star Wars was made for fans, so they can escape and go to that galaxy far, far away and have adventures and play video games where they can create their own characters or embody the characters they love. There is a difference, and once and for all, Disney Star Wars Andor Season 2, it shows you who's a real Star Wars fan and who isn't. So to go back to this whole thing that started this thought process and led me here, to that person who said, I hate Star Wars, I hate Disney Star Wars. And it's fascinating to me to look at people like this, all four of these examples. They truly think they are the real Star Wars fans. Yet, it is very easy to disprove their belief because what they worship is Disney Star Wars. What they worship is everything after 2012, without an ounce, a drop, or a speck or crumb of George Lucas Star Wars. In fact, they do everything possible to place Disney Star Wars above real Star Wars. So I hope you understand what I've said through all of this, and if you did, well then I think we can be friends. Anyway, for now, I'm done. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe to me right here on YouTube, or hope to earn your trust and support using facts and logic, because facts and logic do not care about fake fan Stan and SJW Fifis. Thank you again for watching. Take it easy. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, check out my gaming channel at Renaissance Nerd Arcade, and follow me on X Twitter under @TheRedNerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.